So there's one more player that's part of your law of attraction story that unfortunately is often cast as the villain. But now that you know that there's a lot more to your point of attraction, there's a lot more going on in that mix, I'd like to introduce you to one of your greatest friends and allies for staying in alignment: contrast. So in my experience, there are two primary reasons why contrast, the less than fabulous stuff, shows up in our life. Take a look at this. Number one, to show us that resistance is present and help us choose flow and make a new decision. Or number two, as an answer to an intention. Yes, you heard that right. Now, remember that preview of coming attractions, that inner compass that lets us know whether we're moving toward or away from what we want? Well, there are a lot of times where we don't pay attention, that we're so caught up in something else that our body is getting more and more tense. And then from there, we're starting to experience more and more negative emotion that's just ramping up and gathering momentum. But we don't get it and pay attention to it until something manifests. Now, on the other hand, sometimes we're just getting those signals. We feel that tension in our body, but we choose to deliberately override it. And I don't know about you, but every single time my body and my emotions start to tell me this is not a good idea, and I keep going in that direction, even with the best of intentions, wanting to be in integrity, blah, 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 blah. Every single time I go against what feels good to me, contrast gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, here's the good news. If you got that kind of stuff going on, contrast will let you know. And it starts by giving you feedback via physical sensations in your body first, and then an emotional reaction, an emotional response. So if you catch it early enough where you're just starting to feel that emotional response, it doesn't have to keep rolling and going until it manifests into something big, hairy, and scary. So that's a fabulous thing. Now, the other cool thing about contrast is if you have, remember we talked about beliefs and momentum. If you have beliefs or momentum going on any particular subject that isn't serving you very well, contrast will let you know. So contrast is still helping you out to say, hey, maybe this belief or maybe the thoughts you've continued to have on this particular subject are not exactly great for you. So let contrast be what it's meant to be for you, a friend and ally that's meant to just help you move onward, upward, and forward. Now, I also mentioned that sometimes contrast can be an answered intention. And I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean, Terez? That sounds crazy. Why would I ever intentionally want to have something unpleasant happen to me? Well, on every single subject, we have certain levels of resistance in place. Again, those beliefs, momentum that's been playing. So a lot of times when contrast shows up, it leads you to the path that takes you to the path that takes you to the path. Let me share a little personal story with you. So many years ago, I had dated different people and I was having some very contrasting experiences, let's to put it lightly. And so one day, I actually got in front of my mirror, put my hands up on the mirror, and started shouting to the universe because I was mad. I am tired of this crap. I want my soulmate and I want him now. And I demanded to the universe that I get my soulmate now. So, fast fast forward, I'm thinking a couple of weeks, month-ish after that demand, I had started dating a really super cool, nice guy. And I was performing at the time with the rock band, and my ex-boyfriend, part of that contrasting experience that I was just talking about, is on the stage with me. So I'm actually having a day where things are going pretty well. My new relationship is feeling pretty cool and fun and easy, and things seem to be pretty good over here, that we're able to work together and things seem to be a little more peaceful. And so I'm just in the moment. I'm just in the groove. I'm like singing some rock and roll song, and I'm just feeling really, really good. And so as I'm singing something, I had this impulse to turn to my right. And when I did, there was a gentleman standing there who had just come in that my soul recognized. The immediate thought that I had in my mind because of my current situation was, oh, bleep. Well, I still ended up getting to talk to that gentleman after our show because he actually came over to us to compliment the band because he's a huge music fan, etc., etc. And then I also come to find out that he's also a musician and he plays saxophone. So, needless to say, I'm still having my experiences and I'm currently dating someone else. So, pretty quickly the idea of really connecting with this new guy was just off the table because, hey, I finally got to a peaceful place in my life. I'm not willing to go there. And this lovely new gentleman seemed to pick up on that. And so he was extremely respectful and never, ever pushed anything with me at all. So this gentleman and I ended up having this fabulous friendship for over a couple of years. And during this period of time, some of those initial feelings that I had would creep in. But I would say, no, this person he's my brother and my buddy, and no, this is wrong. So as you can see, I had a little bit of resistance to the idea of having that relationship that I really wanted. So I tried to set my buddy up with my girlfriends. And I did all kinds of things along the path to, without meaning to, get in my own way. But all of these experiences continued to happen until one day, about 2 years into my friendship with this gentleman, I had been dating this other guy, and it seemed like it was really moving into this could be it. And this guy suddenly broke off our relationship. I was completely shocked, completely stunned, and I was an absolute mess. And it was one of those situations I was talking about because during that time, I had some time completely on my own. I was feeling so independent and so good about my life. I wasn't even really looking for a relationship. So I was like, how on earth could this happen to me? So after that breakup happened, I went to my best friend. And my best friend was so incredibly helpful and sweet and helped me to get through that night and continue to check on me. Well, after this happened, I finally said, enough is enough. I am sick and tired of all of this drama. If this is what it means to be in a relationship, then I'm good being by myself. Period. So I had kind of made that decision. And even though it seems like I had let go of my dream, all that I actually did, finally, was let go of my resistance. And so now that it didn't have to happen, some very lovely things unfolded in my life. I was on my way to meet my best buddy and was just inspired to stop at a local bookstore. When I got there and I was wandering around, I ended up talking to this stranger and for some reason decided to tell her my entire relationship story up to this moment. Well, this lovely lady told me, listen, honey, no matter what you do or what you've been through, don't close your heart. Keep your heart open because the one that you've been waiting for, that you've been looking for, may be right around the corner. That day, I went to meet my best friend, whose name is John Hartmann. That night, we had our first kiss. A month later, we were engaged. A year and a half later, we were married. And this year, we're celebrating 15 years of an amazing marriage. So, contrast, in this case, was an answer to my intention. Because if I did not get as angry as I did, and if I did not have all those experiences and then, thank goodness, have that breakup with that guy, I would have missed out on the love of my life. So maybe it's time that you also made friends with contrast and remembered, and I'll say this again, the contrast exists to help us move onward, upward, and forward. So guys, I can easily dedicate a lifetime to delving deeper into these subjects. And honestly, many spiritual masters have done exactly that. But for now, here's the best way to summarize and simplify these ideas for our purposes. Number one, you have a core self. And this aspect of you continues to be and emanate well-being. This aspect of you continues to guide you toward well-being and all you truly desire if you're open to it. And thank goodness, this aspect of you is also a part of the mix of your point of attraction. Number two, contrast is your friend and ally and is here to help you to move onward, upward, and forward. So perhaps it's time to see contrast more as just another great adventure or a puzzle or mystery to be solved. So, are you still with me? Then you are indeed on the path of mastery. Let's continue onward, upward, and forward to the next segment and the awesomeness of working with the law of attraction to let good happen.